Earl, up top, rising, layup, good. It's a triple-double for Bella Earl.
Goes matched up with a speedy guard. Great screen, spin move, layup, he missed it. Williamson fights for the board. His putback is good.
You know, Daryl, I think I need to find a professional editor to put together a better intro. I mean, that's all me that did that intro. I don't know. People can comment on it. Maybe they think it's okay. I don't know. But I need to be better. I really do. I'm just a 42-year-old man who is old, who's not technologically what is the word?
Savvy.
Proficient. Technology savvy. I don't know how you word that, but yeah, good times. I like putting those together, although I'm not very good with using the transitions and the effects and all that other stuff. Maybe, like I said, need to get a better intro. I do have somebody who wants to do a voiceover. He's willing to, but unfortunately, he's not in the WAC anymore. Kind of disappointed about that, but we'll talk about that another day. Anyways, guys, welcome to Straight Outta WAC After Hours. It is Thursday evening. I'm going to try and make this episode as quick as possible because I need to head to Wyoming to get ready to play in a slow pitch softball tournament this weekend. So camping out at the field, always a good time. But anyways, we have UTA Lady Mavs head coach Shereka Wright will bring on her recorded interview that we recorded yesterday, talking Lady Mavs basketball with her, amongst other things. I was going to have KT Turner's interview today, but unfortunately, I think he's on the road somewhere, so they want to wait till next week. So Mavs fans, men's basketball fans, I'll have the Mavs on and KT Turner next Tuesday for you in our Straight Outta WAC After Hours show. But time to talk Lady Mavs. It was a good conversation with Shereka Wright yesterday, Daryl. She seems very excited about her squad and the versatility that she has for them to play different styles of basketball this year.
I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think she won the portal this year just by getting Aspen Thornton into the fold there. A 3-level scorer who started all but I think it was 2 or 3 games in her year and a half at ACU. Really interested to see how that works out for UT Arlington. I think it is going to work out a lot better than people think.
Yeah. And they get, another dynamic point guard because they got Nia Threet, right there. And so add Aspen Thornton to the mix, and it's really good. So before we get to Shereka Wright's interview, the WAC dropped the bracket for WAC Vegas this year in 2025. And the bottom 2 teams will play. What do I want to say? They will play in St. George for a chance to play at the Orleans Arena. I'm trying to find the post about it. Here it is. Let's pull it up here. I'm going to share it with the viewers. You can see it. You can share your thoughts on it. Let's share the screen. Here it comes. All right, here's the brackets for 2025 Western Athletic Conference men's and women's basketball tournament. As you can see, the 8 and 9 seeds will play in St. George in a play-in game to go to Orleans Arena. Unlike last year where we had 3 teams that didn't make it, only 8 teams made it to Orleans Arena. I shouldn't say there weren't any play-in games because that last day of the season for the women's side was like a play-in scenario.
That last Saturday wasn't play-in scenario.
Yeah, so I'm very interested to see what happens here. It is interesting, though, that the number 1 and number 2 seeds will have to play on March 12th, whereas the 4, 5, 3, and 6 seeds won't be playing till March 13th. So the 1 and 2 seeds, if they win, get an extra day of rest compared to who they will play in the semifinals.
That's a unique way of bracketing. I don't know if I've ever seen it done that way with 8 teams. that gap day, right?
He plays. I don't know. It's very interesting. Like I don't know. I guess they're trying to do it to where they can still play 4 games a day, because obviously you're going to have 2 women's games and 2 men's games on March 12th. You're going to have 2 men's games and 2 women's games on March 13th. And so they're just giving the advantage to the 1 and 2 seeds here by giving them a day off in between the quarterfinals and semifinals. So
I like it. I think it incentivizes. Last year the carrot for those 1 and 2 seeds was the double bye, right?
Yeah.
Now it's that extra day of rest between your opening round game and your semifinal game.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm kind of, I don't know what to say about it, is the play-in game in St. George. Why not have a play-in game in Las Vegas, like at one of the high school gyms? Because there's high school gyms that are comparable to like Burns Arena a little bit.
True.
That way they don't have to travel 2 hours to St. George, then 2 hours back to play a game and whatnot. Like pay for an extra hotel. They'll still have to pay for the night in St. George, but I don't know. Just
because if you're going to play in that game, you're flying in to Vegas anyway, and then probably busing from Vegas to St. George and then back if you win.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is an interesting idea. Why they decided to do the 8-9 in St. George instead of renting a Vegas high school or a JC gym.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is what it is. There's reasons for it. I don't know if they had to. Probably didn't have to pay any money to have it at Burns Arena, so that saves the conference there. But then again, who are they having run that game? Is it just going to be the Utah Tech?
It's probably Utah Tech staff, which means they're paying Utah Tech staff, would be my guess.
They would have to. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I need to get Drew Sparrow on so we can talk about that and the dynamics between it. But here's your bracket, the way it's set up for WAC Vegas. Let us know what you think about it, how you feel about it. Are you excited? Cody, I think we just kind of talked about the playing game. I do, because you have 9 teams, so somebody's got to be left out, and you want everybody to have a chance, right? You want everybody to go to the tournament, unlike last year where 3 teams got left out. So this gives teams a chance to play into it. I do like it. I kind of wish they would have just kept it closer in Vegas, but they probably didn't have an arena or a gym that they could play that game in. So I do like it. I think it's a good thing. But I think you want to stay out of it as much as possible so you don't have to go to St. George. I mean, if you're Southern Utah or Utah Valley, it doesn't really matter because it's on your way to Vegas. But for the teams that aren't from around here, any of them that aren't from Northern Utah, you fly into Vegas or bus into Vegas, 2 hours to St. George and yeah. But I do like that they're having it so that everybody gets considered, can make plans to come to at least Las Vegas for the WAC tournament.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I hated seeing 3 teams stay home last year, although part of me says it's old school that you earn the right to play in postseason based on how you finish. Maybe sure. That's the side of me that spent 10 years on a high school staff and was grinding to make postseason every year.
You think about it, maybe if there was more than 11 teams, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I was kind of disappointed that, 3 of those teams didn't get to play because, that women's race was pretty fun to watch down the stretch. So, yeah. Speaking of women's basketball, we got to talk to Shereka Wright, the UT Arlington Lady Mavs head coach, the Purdue Hall of Famer. She will be going back to her old stomping grounds at Mackey Arena in November when she takes the Lady Mavs back to face the Boilermakers right before Thanksgiving. It was a great interview, great discussion. She's always fun. She's always very high energy. And we're going to let you listen in right now. So enjoy. It is Wednesday. Well, it's like Wednesday morning still for me. It's Wednesday afternoon in Arlington, Texas. And it's still Wednesday morning in sunny California. But we're still talking UTA Lady Mavs. I feel like my head is not in my camera because I keep moving. But anyways, good setup here in my home office. As you see, we have UTA Lady Mavs head coach Shereka Wright here joining us. Basically, we're doing the same thing again. We're pre-recording this. I'm just putting it out there. Some people don't talk about how they pre-record stuff. And it'll be on our Straight Outta WAC after hours show Thursday evening. So, Shereka, it is so good to see you. So good to talk to you. We were just talking offline about, the old stomping grounds and what you're going to be seeing there, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. How has your summer been? Off season, you ready to go? You ramped up and ready to get classes started and get going with fall camp?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a very, very relaxing summer, very exciting summer here in Arlington. We're so excited about just the start of the new year, start of a new experience, but more so than anything, I'm just excited about this group of young ladies that we have here starting this upcoming year, excited about our returners, excited about our new faces, but more so than anything in year 5, just excited about the opportunities that we have upon us. So we're excited about a new year.
You saw AB's interview with us. We were talking about this before we started recording, but I got to ask you, is Breakfast Brothers really, the place like for breakfast in Arlington? Because I don't think I've ever heard of red velvet waffles, but some other UTA fan mentioned that like they're worth the price of admission.
Listen, Breakfast Brothers is the place to be. They're such a big sponsor of us. You definitely have to try it. Ricky, who is the owner, he owns it obviously with his brother, and so they have a great menu. Yes, so when you do come here, you definitely got to go the red velvet waffles and the chicken wings. You can get catfish and shrimp. You can get catfish and waffles, pancakes, French toast, anything that you can think of. You can do fried rice, mac and cheese. So you got to make sure you get a nap in before, you come back and catch a game because it's that good. It's that good.
Okay, we just had to verify that. It has now been verified. So we'll take your and AB's word for it.
Yes.
The other thing that, I know it's early in our recording here in our little show, our segment here, that I asked her about was maybe the motto for this year. Have you thought about that? Is that something you talked to your team about, that they kind of pitched to you to kind of come together as a team to decide that?
Yeah, absolutely. So last year we talked about this, and it was play to win. It was that whole Vegas theme that, I thought was really good for us. And I just said, we're going to continue with that, and we're just going to reload it. We reloaded the roster. That's why I was going to go on to AB about this piece, because she knows we talk about our cards and what it stands for, but we're playing to win every time, whether it's on the court, in the classroom, in life, we're playing to win. And those cards that we talk about stands for communication. The A stands for aggressiveness. The R stands for relentless. The D stands for to be disruptive. And then the S stands for to be selfless for your teammates. And so we want to reload that. We felt like we reloaded that with our roster. We reloaded it with that core that has so much of experience. And more so for me, year 5 as a head coach have grown from that. My assistant coaches have grown. And so it's a big thing for us to continue to stay with that standard. No matter who we're playing, we want to make sure that we continue to stay with our biggest thing is to play to win and give everything that you have every single day.
Yeah, you started off last year 1-8, right? And then, you won 16 of your next 24 games and made a run to the WAC semis. How, with all the roster turnover and transfer portal and all that stuff nowadays, how nice is it that you get some of your key leaders back from that team last year that was part of that momentum you had built up through conference play and into the WAC tournament, that now they got a feel for that success. Now you can take that. When you get AB back, when you get Talia back, when you get Naya back, and you get other pieces, how nice is that? And how excited are you for that there's momentum there and they've experienced that?
Yeah, absolutely. So in coaching, you kind of go back and look at the things that work for you. And I think when you see the success of other teams that they've had, it has been a core that you have that has experience. But also you talk about bench play. Bench play is important too as well. And so, yeah, you mentioned some key players there with Avery, with Talia, and with Naya, who probably, the ones that returned as starters for us. So we lost two, but in particular with that group, it's it's our bench play. We got to continue to improve that. Maria Perkins is a big piece of that. Callie Haslip, again, Alexa Goudot as well too. So that is a big piece of what we've added when we went into the portal to be able to uplift that. But we added some experience, and I felt like that was a big piece for us as we make this run going into year 5. We've had 2 years of the WAC to understand that, from top to bottom, you see some really good basketball, which I always felt like the WAC is not talked about enough just because of the different styles of play. But I feel like, we addressed some things that I felt like, hey, we needed to make sure we did. But the core piece was really, really critical, for us to make sure we kind of kept it intact. Because like you said, they know what to expect. They know what the success looks like for us. But we also added some players that know what success looks like as well too, experienced, and have come in, have done a really good job of blending with this core group that we have returning.
Shereka, you talk about some of that experience. You had a veteran in Aspen Thornton who started all but, believe it was 2 games in her Abilene Christian tenure. And then Zoe Nelson from SFA, both with WAC experience. Just talk about what they bring to the table as the Lady Mavs look to make a run at the WAC regular season and tournament titles in 24-25.
Absolutely. So you talk about Aspen Thornton, all the success that she had at Abilene Christian. And, one of the things that had always impressed me is her ability to be a 3-level scorer. Gives us another ball handler to go with Nia 3, who has definitely come on the scene late for us last year. That's going to be able to continue with that experience, but to be able to mesh those two is important. Again, I don't feel like we lose anything, when we do have Aspen or Nia on the floor. We had success of that last year when we had Gia and Nia on the floor as well too. And so Aspen just kind of comes in and adds the experience piece, another ball handling, scoring, the ability to be able to shoot the ball from the outside. But more so, again, you got to talk about her ability to be able to finish at the rim was very impressive, as we watched her at Abilene. So, and then you talk about Zoe Nelson, her versatility piece was big. I mean, the length and size, the success that she had last year, at Stephen F before, she decided to go into the transfer portal. But she gives us another level to be able to play her some on the perimeter as well as play her and at the 4 position, which she's very used to doing. Her rebounding ability is something that I think is very unique for her that a lot of people don't talk about as much, but she can score in different levels. So I like the size. I like the fact that we finally put something together that we can play a brand of basketball. It's just not set on one thing. If we want to play, again, want to go a bigger lineup, a pressing lineup, again, a running lineup, we can do those things. And so those 2 in particular were really big pieces for us to be able to add because they do know what the WAC is about and they've had success in the WAC.
AB mentioned it that she likes that versatility, maybe the athleticism that you guys have, that you've, just the fact that you can play multiple different styles. How important was that maybe for you going into this offseason, knowing you got multiple different styles of basketball that are played in the WAC? CBU likes to get up and down and shoot the 3. You experienced that 3 times last year, and GCU plays a little bit more physical and a full court type deal. And Utah Valley and Southern Utah are kind of a half court type game where they want to pound the paint and so forth. So how maybe was that kind of the plan going into the offseason, is we have to make it so we can play multiple styles of basketball night in and night out?
Yeah, I think it was part of it, Kyle. I think when you look at basketball overall and you look at the state of where it is right now, not just preparing for WAC play, but non-conference, and then ultimately our goal is to go to postseason. So whoever we're going up against, we feel like we have a lot to be able to do that. But when I look back on, as me and my staff look back on our year that we had, yes, we finished with a winning season. But when we look at the things that we struggled with, we talked about our bench production. Yeah, you're talking about, we played 3 games in 3 days, but we were in the game. And like you said, ran out of gas, but we had opportunities to be able to stay in the game. I just felt like, again, we didn't have, the fire punch that we needed off the bench. Great teams have that. You need another scorer off the bench. You need another defender. You need size off the bench. And so we addressed those things. Defensively, we did not defend the three like we needed to do. Like, we just didn't defend at the level that I expect us to be able to do. So those areas we definitely addressed. Can we score the basketball? Yes. I think that is our biggest thing. I like the versatility, love the versatility. I know we'll talk about Avery here in a second, but you're talking about probably a player that we're not talking about enough in the mid-major rankings. Her versatility, a double-double that she has been able to do for us is impressive. And you're talking about those 3 games and what she did with us. It's unbelievable when she locks in. She's, for me, in my eyes, is a potential pro. And we talked about that. You got to look at the things that she does well. It's a buy-in. And I felt like her summer was really, really good. And so, and we felt like we added some other pieces. I know we'll talk about that here too, but we added experience, we added players that know what it takes and then don't have a drop off. And I think that was probably the biggest thing for us last year.
Shereka, you talk about having momentum coming into this year at that WAC tournament presser. How disappointed was the program to lose the opportunity to play in the WBI because they could not fill out that the other 7 teams? And do you feel like maybe with the state of women's basketball and the fact that players are entering the portal, do you feel like that's a tournament that we might lose in coming years?
Yeah, well, going back to that, you want your teams to experience postseason. Anytime that you have postseason, you want your team to be able to go through that because it's more basketball for them to learn, for them to play with each other. What does it take to play in that where it is you win and you go home? That's that mentality that you get to use. And so, yeah, definitely was disappointed because it felt like this group deserved that. Again, we talked about how we started. It's all about really how you finish. And this team really came together towards the end. It was a team that was tough, like when we were locked in. But with the state of basketball, as you talked about, Daryl, yeah, you hope that you don't lose that. But because you have all these different tournaments to play in, so many other teams that you can add to the field now, kind of changes the complexity of that piece. And so, it kind of puts a little bit of pressure on it where you have it. But the transfer portal always adds that. And that's always a thing. It's here. I think we accepted that the portal is something that you're going to be experiencing. You're going to have players leave and some players will stay. But that's probably another thing that we will probably have to deal with. But that's ultimately the goal is that you got to put together a roster and not hoping you have major injuries where your team can really gel at the right time.
You mentioned when I was there back in November to watch that game against Lamar, and I think we talked about it that Avery, you kind of asked her to have a little different role than what she was used to at SFA. How do you feel she handled that throughout the season? The growth into that role you were hoping she would step into. I mean, you talked about it, that WAC tournament. I mean, she averaged, I think it was 22 and 11 or something like that. Like, she was lights out. But just where she's at from when she first stepped on campus last year to now, as you get ready for her second season, how you feel she stepped into that role you were hoping she would step into.
Yeah, so it's the cycles of Avery that I always say of AB, and it's always a deal where a athlete says, I want that role. I want to be able to step in and have that. And it was different than what she expected. It was, hey, if certain things were not going away, she struggled with those things. It's learning how to coach her. And that was always the biggest thing too for me is that, hey, Avery, it's not going to come as easy because now you're the focal point of everybody. It was a patience deal with her, letting the game come to her. And when you saw that she started to slow the game down for herself, you get to see like the versatility of Avery Brittingham, right? Her ability to be able to pass is unbelievable. To see the floor, she can start a break, her rebounding, her hands, the knack to be able to go rebound the ball. And her ability now, and you saw it in the WAC tournament, her ability now to be able a mid-range game, right? To be able to face up, to be able to put the ball on the floor. And then, she had a thumb injury that a lot of people didn't know about. She played with all season. We finally got that fixed. So now she's rolling. Now her challenge is that let the game come to you. It's a dominance piece that hey, you have the players around you, but you have to be able to know who you are. A double-double should be expected from her every single day. And it's like I told her, it's about getting in shape. It's also about controlling your emotions throughout the flow of the game. And so, but I thought that's really what you saw. And I told her, like, those press conferences, you're going to hear that as we go through our preseason piece, because I feel like she really is that leader. Her voice, you can tell when she's on the floor. She demands a double team. That is what you need. You got to have a player that can demand that. I feel like when we've had success, we've had players who demanded double teams, and she will continue to do that. That's why I think it makes this tough for us, for a lot of teams to prepare for us when we do have the versatility and different players to play.
Shereka, we collected a couple of fan questions over the couple of days here. We'll go ahead and tackle. From Darth Dad, is there an effect on team chemistry in the transfer portal era? And if so, are we looking at a different style of team on a yearly basis? And then how do you handle that in the current era of college basketball?
Darth Dad, very, very good question. You're going to deal with chemistry all the time on the transfer portal, right? We're going to deal with that. But I think the key to all of that is it's your core. Can you keep some of your core together to help blend? It's a culture piece too. Is it easy? No, but you want your core, your culture to be able to, again, sustain some of that. And I'll tell you, like, Kyle talked to you guys about this the first part of the season, right? We felt like we had a core, and then that core was so young. And then we had a piece that left. We had all these new faces, styles of play, personalities that we had to blend. And so I thought what we did a very good job of this summer was keep that core piece together, but let's add some experience, maybe adding some players that are in their last year. Maybe some players are juniors. And then you may add one or two freshmen who I felt like was really good. And so we also got some players who were injured. They're finally coming back that were freshmen last year, didn't get to play, but they were in our culture. So we're just really trying to make sure that we talk about that piece, what their expectations are every day. And then it's an accountability piece from peer to peer, from player to player, to be an extension of me and understanding that, hey, these are our standards here to be a Lady Mav. Good days, bad days. But the expectation is that, hey, we got to compete at a different level. You got to hold each other accountable. Whoever we're playing, again, we're playing to win. And so those are some of the things that we try to focus on. Has it worked? We're going to try it this year. But I feel like it's been really good for us this summer because we've had them here for both summer sessions, and it's been really, really good.
I kind of want to piggyback off of that question. Something that Jared Olson said to us in a preseason last year was that there's not a lot of transference between high school recruiting, going after high school juniors and seniors, and the portal. And I kind of wanted to get your take on that.
Well, I think it's based off of styles of play and what you feel like fits you. I think for me, a lot of times I think there's probably a difference from high school as a junior, senior, probably when you are recruiting somebody from the portal. But and I think I see his ways too. Maybe you're getting a kid that didn't play as much at their previous institution, but still ultra talented, right? But they fit what you're looking for. So I think everybody's philosophy, Daryl, is going to be different. It's about what you need and your style of play and what fits you. We also, too, are dealing with a situation. You don't have much time to build those relationships in the portal compared to when you do have it in high school. And so I'll be honest with you, this summer I'm sitting here watching, high school basketball compared to what I've been watching, on Synergy, because I'm trying to watch from the portal. It's kind of night and day. It's kind of hard. And so what you're looking for is intangibles for me in high school, size. And I'll tell you, our freshman, Kendall Robinson, is probably one of the freshmen I feel like I'm really excited about because I feel like her size, I feel like the things that she can do to defend the ball has been really, really good for us that we probably couldn't get in the portal. So I kind of agree with some of that. I feel like, but we built a relationship with her early on, and she got a chance to really watch us play to know what her expectations were once she got here.
And then one more fan question from Casey. What is something you are looking forward to the most this coming season? I know we're going to make 2 final trips to Seattle and Phoenix, with Seattle and GCU departing the WAC. in 25. What excites you the most, or what are you looking forward to the most about this group and taking the floor with them?
I think for me, what I'm excited about is that it's the new faces that blends in with the core. We've kind of gone through some of those names from the WAC, but I finally get a chance to coach. One of my former players I recruited from Vanderbilt, Koi Love, who spent some time at Arizona as well as at Southern Cal, and the experience that she gets to add to that versatility. Laura Bello, who we gotten from Idaho, another big piece. Big versatile post players are big for us. Adele Vakova was huge for us last year. And so I felt like Laura Bello is going to be able to add those things to us as well. And so, I think that that's probably one of the things I'm excited about. Our travel, our non-conference, hopefully is coming out here at the end of this week. As you know, I like to challenge our players. I really, really like to challenge our team and put them on a platform to, be able to experience really good basketball as you're going to experience that in postseason. And so I'm excited about that. I feel like we've done a really good job of scheduling, probably playing a little bit or less games than what we've had in the past and changed some things, not doing an MTE this year. And so, we wanted to try some different things as we prepare ourselves for the WAC. I'm excited about that. The schedule piece is I felt really good for us. I liked how it fell. But I think it's more so it's taking it one step at a time and making sure that our kids understand that in year five is for us to continue to build success, to be at that top tier of the WAC and competing for a championship.
Speaking of schedule, there is a pretty good ball game that happens on November 24th. I mean, have you wanted to go back there to play? Has it just been one of those things where it hasn't worked out with the time or the date or whatever? But you're going back to your old stomping grounds at Purdue in West Lafayette on November 24th, taking the Lady Mavs back there. You were All-American. You led them to a national championship, appearance in that final game. West Lafayette holds a lot of near and dear memories for you. So I know AB said you're not looking forward, right? Like you have to focus now, but like, in the back of your mind, and especially since you get to coach against a former teammate, and Daryl asked the question, was it yesterday on that live stream? Your former coach, who's she going to be rooting for? Like how excited are you to take your team back there, especially Big Ten, an opportunity, like Mackey Arena? It just, how excited are you to go back to take the Lady Mavs to play Purdue in November?
Well, first of all, definitely honored to be able to go back to a place to get to coach on the floor that you played on as a player. Had a lot of unbelievable memories there. Christy Curry, who Katie Gerald's and I played for, that was the first message we got when she saw it came out on social. Was so excited about that. But just, it's a lot. I want our kids to experience, to be able to see and look up in the rafters and to be able to see their coach's name, and just for them to understand how much the game has done for me. Wearing that jersey was something that, I just really, really was honored to be a Boilermaker. And so Kay Gerald's and the administration were a big part of that piece of me coming back. She just announced that she's going to the Hall of Fame as well, too. So that's a big honor for her. Congratulations to her. So, we're going up there to compete. It's you get to go through that piece, but I know there was a question about whether the game will be challenging. Will it be a challenge? Hey, I don't care who we're playing. We're going to challenge and compete. That's the mentality of my team. And hey, win or lose, we're going to leave it out there. So I'm excited to see the fans. I'm excited for my family, my daughter to have a chance to be able to go. She doesn't know much about it yet, but for her to be able to go up there, but for our players to be able to experience that piece is unbelievable. But I'm just excited that, it's an opportunity for me as a Boilermaker to go back and play and take my team up there.
Well, and we were talking pre-record that there is an iconic restaurant that Purdue fans, anybody that goes to West Lafayette, they know about. Mm-hmm. It unfortunately the original place unfortunately got tore down because they're developing the area with more new fancy condos, offices, whatnot. But Bruno's is an iconic pizza place, food place, whatever, hangout, whatever you want to call it, that they are rebuilding.
Yes.
And that has to be on the itinerary that you're going to go there for a meal at the new place that they're rebuilding when you go there, right?
Listen, that Bruno's pizza probably again is. I mean, it's you just have to go taste it for yourself. That's why I'm kind of excited to kind of see. I mean, obviously it's new. You're hoping that the recipe doesn't change. We know it's not going to change, but our kids like, hey, where are we eating at? As long as we're not paying for it, it doesn't really matter, right? But I'm excited because I think it's going to be really, really good. Of course, we're going to put that on the menu for sure. We don't put too much on the menu because I want our kids to be prepared to be able to play the next day. And so got a lot of great things going on that weekend for sure. So I think the men or football may be playing as well too. So it's just going to be a great reunion back up that way. But more so, like I said before, I mean, I know also too, Avery and Zoe get to see a former teammate of theirs as well too. That's in that gold and black. So it's going to be a lot. I'm hoping that this is something that people get to talk about. But I think it's going to be a very competitive, great game.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, that I bring up the West Lafayette. When I have family that lives out there that are big Purdue fans. I even asked one of them when we stopped by there in June if they remembered you from your playing days, and boom, they were right on top of it. Of course, remember, she led us to the national championship title appearance. So, yes, 100%. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited for that you get to go back and play on the same floor or coach on the same floor that you played on and led the Boilermakers to some titles and your Hall of Famer there. So that'll be an awesome experience.
Well, thank you. It will be awesome for sure.
Daryl, do you got the rapid questions? Let's finish up with the rapid questions.
All right. We'll start with what's on your Netflix, Hulu binge watching list?
So can I change that and go Peacock?
Okay, works.
So on Peacock, I'm actually watching Bel-Air right now. So I was a big Fresh Prince of Bel-Air fan. And so I kind of started, but now I've been on this binge of it. I actually didn't go to bed till late this morning because I've been watching it. So Bel-Air has been something that I've been watching on Peacock, along with the Olympics was on there as well, too. Netflix, I'm a big The Parkers. Like, I love The Parkers on Netflix. I can watch reruns forever on that. So that's kind of what I'm watching right now. I'm not really big on like a lot of drama, but I love funny like sitcoms and things like that and comedy. So Peacock, I'm watching Bel-Air, and on Netflix, I'm still watching The Parkers.
I like
All
it.
right. Number 2, speaking of the Olympics, what was your favorite event outside of the basketball to watch this year?
So obviously track and field was unbelievable to be able to watch, the anticipation with that whole piece of it, all the different things that happened. So track and field was probably one of the events that I watched. But also let's talk about breaking. Like you got a breaking, like you're doing breakdancing and doing all these different things. I thought that was awesome too. But I'm kind of mad that they're not bringing it back in 2028. I was definitely disappointed, but I didn't even know that wasn't even an event. So but track and field obviously was the biggest thing to be able to watch. The relays was really, really good. But then the breakdancing piece was huge for me too.
All right. Favorite dessert?
Ooh, favorite dessert. I probably have to say mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Oh, nice. Ooh. With a brownie?
Yes, definitely with the not the chocolate brownie. I'm kind of giving away all my secrets and things like that. I like the whole rainbow. Like I go to Brahms and get that whole like sundae with mint chocolate chip ice cream, and then the rainbow brownie. So I know people are like, that's gross, but listen, I love it.
All right. Favorite road trip in the WAC?
Favorite road trip in the WAC. I enjoy going to Phoenix, Grand Canyon. I've always enjoyed that because obviously I played there for the Phoenix Mercury. So I always enjoy going to Phoenix, even though it's hot, but I just really enjoy the West Coast. And so I would probably say it would have to be Phoenix.
You're not a snow person like AB is.
No, I had enough snow when I was at Purdue, and it's I need a break from it.
Good point.
And then to round it out, Favorite city on the AAU scene?
Ooh, very good question. I would probably have to say Houston. I went there, even though it was coming through from a storm piece, but I actually enjoy going down to Houston. It's got good food. It's got places you can go eat. I love to go eat and then try different places. And so you got those. And I'm got another one for you. I probably would say Chicago. I didn't go there this season here, but it probably would have to be Chicago.
Chicago's good. I like Chicago. I'm going to Chicago in October. So, yeah, good times. I like Chicago. Chicago's one of my favorites. I'm not going to lie. I love Chicago. My dad taught an all-boys Catholic school there for a few years. So, love Chicago. I still get mad when I think about the fact that he moved us out to Utah, but there were extenuating circumstances that we won't go into. Give us a food place if we were to come out to Arlington for a game. We asked AB that. She gave us Breakfast Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a preferential place to have a pregame meal or something like that.
Oh, a pregame meal. You want it close by campus so you can get back in time? You want to get
I mean, the DFW area is massive, so it's kind of, all over the place. But you give us your favorite spot.
So Grease Monkey is really, really good right down the street here from us. You got a variety of different things. They usually have like live music. They got some really good food, some quick hits. So burgers, they got different like salads and different things. I'm trying to keep you awake. So that's always the biggest thing. So you're not falling asleep. So, I think that's probably another place. Cane Russo is a really good place too. Pasta. I love going there and eating there too as well. So I'm kind of on the healthier side, that piece of it, because Breakfast Brothers, I would have told you that was probably the place that you definitely want to go to. But you got a couple of places that you can definitely try for sure.
Okay. All right. Shereka, we appreciate the time. Always a pleasure. It is mid-August. We have about 2.5 months until the season. Is that right? September?
Yeah, 2.5 months.
Yeah, so about 2.5 months until the season starts. 2024-25. A lot of excitement about the UT Arlington Lady Mavs with some key returners, some key additions, a lot of versatility from what you said. And we look forward to it and appreciate the time as always.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you soon. Again, it's always my shout out to my Lady Mav Nation. All right. Come see us, support us. And hey, listen, let's continue to keep talking about our mid-major programs. Hey, need to be on the rise. So let's continue to keep talking about it. And I appreciate you guys both. We appreciate what you do.
Everybody, thank you for tuning in and stay tuned. We'll be right back on the Straight Outta WAC After Hours show. All right. Well, that was a nice interview that we had with Shereka Wright, UT Arlington Lady Mavs head coach. You can see a lot of versatility. She returns one of the better bigs who can really is a multifaceted big in Avery Brittingham, who developed that 15-foot, maybe 20-foot jumper for her late in the season, took over that, stepped into a role last year for UT Arlington, where a lot more was on her shoulders. So she's looking forward to another big year. And Shereka is awesome. I'm not going to lie. All the coaches in the WAC are, but she's awesome. And always a great interview, and I appreciate her coming on yesterday to record with us for a few minutes.
Yeah, always a blast to talk with all of our coaches. But as we work our way through these team previews, we're so thankful that they take the time to talk about their teams with us and talk stuff outside of basketball with us too.
Yeah. And, she mentioned that Avery Brittingham and Zoe Nelson get to play against their former teammate. WAC Defensive Player of the Year Destiny Lombard transferred from SFA to Purdue. So that's who she said that's who she was meaning, that Avery Brittingham and Zoe Nelson will get to play against when they go to Purdue on November 24th. Everybody, we appreciate the time. Like I said, we're going to cut this short because I have to skedaddle and go get my trailer and go camp for a few days and play some old man slow pitch softball. But stay tuned. Tomorrow on the newsletter, we will have Daryl's write up about the scheduling, and we will also have 2 team previews come out for both the UT Arlington men and the UT Arlington women. So be on the lookout for those. We appreciate the following, appreciate the tuning in to the Straight Outta WAC After Hours. We will be back on Tuesday. We may have a recording with a player or two from either the GCU men or the Southern Utah women, because it is Southern Utah women next week and the GCU men next week as well that we preview. A lot of talk about the GCU men being a possible top 25 team, considering they return 4 starters. Luke Ward's back, and they added some big pieces in the offseason. So we'll see about that. But first, we're going to finish up with UT Arlington this week. Again, tomorrow on the WAC Hoop Nation, on WACHoopsNation.com, there will be the team previews. So be on the lookout for those. Anyways, appreciate y'all tuning in. Daryl, have a good rest of your night. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday or Tuesday.
Yep, you too. Have fun at softball. Dad and I are playing some golf tomorrow since he retired recently. So
very nice. Very nice. Everybody, enjoy your weekend, and we appreciate all the support.
Thanks for listening to the Straight Outta WAC podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcasting platforms. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Remember to follow WAC Hoops Nation on all your favorite social media platforms.